Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Tomorrow is the official free agent day in terms of everyone can be signed, but today was almost just as exciting as yesterday.
Yes,
Not as many big names, but still a pretty good day for us, and we're pretty happy about it. What do you think, Dad?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is everybody in the pool. Big splash by Howie today. Huge, gigantic.
Splashing everywhere.
Yeah, it's a splash party. Come on in. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Getting back, the player that we got today was amazing.
Yes.
And some of the other guys we got, I think, are just going to fit well.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. CJ Gardner Johnson, CJGJ, man, he's back. Played one season with Detroit, was with us a couple years ago. I'm sure everyone remembers the 6 interceptions when he played in only 12 or 13 games, which was
lacerated kidney.
Yeah. Signed him to a 3-year, $33 million contract. What do you got about him, Dad?
Well, the one thing I got about him is that 33 is a max. So We're talking it could be 29, it could be 28 with incentives, which is great because, CJ's a big talker. A big mouth. We like that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited that he's back. I thought he played great for us 2 years ago, and last year, we needed him. We needed him. Unfortunately, he went to Detroit and only played a few games. Played well when he did play, but hopefully he's all healed up. I think it was a shoulder, so a pec. So it wasn't like this anything internal like the year before.
Yeah.
But what I do have on him was that this will be his 6th year in the league. He only played 2 games last year, so I guess as far as tread on the tires go, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He has 4 sacks and 39 pass defenses in his career, so he's played for really 4 seasons altogether.
Yeah.
12 picks, 13 including playoffs, which was when he came back from being injured last year, he had a pick in the playoff game, which is amazing.
Yep.
Let's see, I got him as in 2019 he was around 4, pick 105, and he's 5'11", 215, something like that. So
Yeah, no, same thing as you. Coming off a season of rest, basically. Only played 5 games total, 3 regular season, 2 postseason, 2 interceptions total, 1 in the regular, 1 in the post. He's a playmaker that we were missing last year.
2022 co-interception leader.
Yes.
With only playing maybe 3/4 of the
games.
Yeah. So,
but a playmaker that we really needed last year, and that we're going to really need going forward, especially
definitely
what is looking like will be our secondary. We'll see what the draft is looking like, but we'll talk about.
I also like the fact that he's one of those guys. You got to have that guy that's mouthy, gets out there and backs it up. The big thing about him was the Super Bowl run year, not last year before.
Yeah.
He was big early in the season.
Yeah.
Got a lot of picks early, and it really just changed the way the defensive line was able to play because teams knew we had guys back there that could pick the ball off. Yeah. And, they were holding on to that ball and getting sacked like crazy early on that season. So hopefully he brings that with him this year. And, he's got a little, like you say, there's a little chip on his shoulder from not being able to perform for Detroit like he really wanted to. And, we'll see how the fans react because, there was a little bit of jabbing going back and forth.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. You hate him when he's not on your team, but he's your guy. You love him.
True. Very true. So great to see him back. Welcome back, CJGJ. Good to have. Next, we'll talk about Matt Hennessy. We signed him. He's a center/guard. Played most of his games at center, but he's played a lot of guard in his time in the NFL. Only a 1-year deal. We don't have a number for that yet. He's 26 years old. Played at Temple, which is nice. So he grew up around.
Okay.
Grew up in.
I didn't see that. Yes.
He was playing in New Jersey is what
nice.
I saw.
Nice.
Grew up playing in New Jersey. Played at Temple. Played in 41 games. Got 22 starts. Dad, what do you got on him?
So he just turned 26 in November. So he's a young guy. He's 25 years old, which that's awesome that he's still got a lot of tread on the tires as well. He's started at center in 2021 when Alex Mack, who was amazing center that most people out there would know, started for him, played every game that season. So that was in 2021. He was drafted in 2020, round 3, pick 76. So he was a pretty high draft pick. We're talking early 3rd round to be 76 like that. So 6'4", 309. But the good thing is he can back up center and he can back up guard.
Yeah.
We were trying to find, we know in 2021 he played all 17 games as center. We don't know if he played any guard
I think
in the NFL, but
I think in 21 he played most games at center. Then he got moved to guard after that. Okay. It's hard to tell. We don't have the advanced.
We looked up their chart, their depth chart. Last year, he wasn't on it, obviously. So,
I didn't play.
We didn't really have
another guy coming off an off season.
A guy that's eager to play. Hopefully, he's got a little history of knee injuries. That's what took him out last season in August. But we couldn't find if it was an ACL, so we don't know if it was. Yeah. Not that would matter because we've had players tear them early in their career and become great players. But, he's a big guy. Hopefully that's right. Kelsey tore his and BG did as well early in his career. So, but hopefully he is healed and ready to go. And, he's going to be another hungry young player, to make his mark in the NFL. And, we need linemen. We could use some good spares there and hopefully push some of our guys to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Do you think this means Sua Opeta's probably gone?
Probably. You said he's a free agent, so right, and so is Driscoll. You were saying.
I'd really like to see Driscoll back, but I'm with you there. I don't think this. I don't think this move means anything about Cam Jurgens. I hope that's something that I saw a lot of people on Twitter were kind of saying, like, "Oh, see, they don't trust Cam," and it's like, no,
or they want Cam to be a guard.
I don't think so. I think this is still. Cam's going to be the starting center. I really think no matter what, I think you have to. You put a second-round pick into that guy. Yeah. He has to. And I think it's just this is a good move to have for a backup interior guy.
Definitely.
Who's played.
Always need them.
He's got a lot of experience as a young kid. He's only 26, 41 games played, 22 starts. Right. He knows how to play in the NFL, so that's
played. That's what 44 games. That's good part of 4 seasons. Right. So, and that means he played his rookie year, too, because he didn't play much last year. So
he didn't play any games last year.
So,
he played 41 games in 3 seasons.
Right.
So that's pretty darn good.
That's really good.
Let's talk about the other big guy that we signed that we're pretty happy about. Got Devante Parker. Signed him to a 1-year, $4.69 million deal. Oh, but here's the good news. Here's the good news.
Oh, yeah, good news.
The Eagles are only going to be paying him $1.12 million of that. New England's going to be paying the rest for him. Dad, what do you got as stats-wise?
So, Devante's a little bit older guy. He was drafted in 2015, 14th overall.
Same year as Nelson Aguilar.
Right, when he was picked,
20th.
So, he's been around the league. The one thing that you can say about him is what year it was that he had the huge year. Sorry. But he had
17.
9 touchdowns and 1,200 yards receiving. Yeah. So he's a veteran. He's 31 years old. But, I don't think it's a bad thing, really. He's 6'3", 215. He's going into his 9th season, but he just turned 31 in January. So just about a month ago, he turned 31. So relatively on the young end, but last year he had some pretty good stats. So let me give you his overall. In his career, 402 receptions, 5,660 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14.1 yards per catch. Last year, on an awful New England Patriots team with
terrible quarterbacks.
2 bad quarterbacks. Well, Zappi had a good game here and there, but Mac Jones, as we all know, just faltered. But he had 33 catches, 394 yards, so you're looking at about almost 12 yards a catch and 0 touchdowns. But the good thing is he brings veteran leadership. He brings, we've needed that third receiver, and we've been holding on to guys for years that just have not risen to the level that we need them to.
Yeah.
We took a few shots here with Pascal. We took a shot last year with OZ
and Julio.
They just never worked out. So hopefully he comes in with a little more respect. He's had some big numbers in his career. He had that huge year, and hopefully he can help us out, and hopefully he's another one with a chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely.
And he's got maybe a few years left in his career, and maybe make it this year, and maybe sign again next year, depending on how he does.
We'll see. And this year he had 395 yards. Is that correct?
Yes, 394.
Yeah. So 394. Sorry.
That's okay.
I added up. So I was on Twitter earlier today. I follow a lot of pages on Twitter to see movements and stuff like that when I'm at work, and someone had said, there was a lot of people who were upset, or not upset, but
why are we signing him?
Why are we signing him? Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. And I commented on one guy. I was like, because he said, why are people upset? What are we doing? And I commented on his, and I was like, you're right, because last year he had 394 yards. I calculated our other 3 number 3 wide receivers, Quez Watkins, Olamide Zaccheaus, Julio Jones, combined for 380.
Wow.
I know they did combine for about 6 touchdowns, so they got a few more touchdowns.
Squeezed a couple out of there.
3 of them.
Yeah.
I think OZ had 2 of them. Quez had 1.
Quez had 1.
Yeah, in the last.
Fumble in the end zone or something? Sorry.
Six touchdowns total for them. So, they beat him on the touchdowns.
Definitely.
But he had more yards than them. Of three guys combined. Yeah. I know Quez was hurt here and there. Julio was old. Olamide Zacchaeus doesn't have any freaking excuse. But it's just like one of those things where he was playing with two terrible quarterbacks.
Well, hopefully Kevin Moore, will use him in part of it. We need, we always say that. You need more weapons.
Guy.
You got the ball. That's right. And really, we just could not rely on any of them last year. And I don't know if we even tried to throw it to him half the time. But
Devante Parker, not Devante Smith. Yeah. Parker, do you know his 40 time?
No, I don't
have it either. I know he's a pretty fast guy. I didn't have his 40 time. I know we were talking about the nice thing about this is that he lines up on the outside mostly. Now, he can be in the slot, but he lines up mostly on the outside. And what this does is it'll let Devante or Smitty, let's call him Smitty from now on.
There you go.
Line up in the slot where he is dangerous.
Right. Well, the other good thing is this guy's 6'3". So, that kind of brings a little bit of height to that wide receiver position, which, it's funny. In most of the career of Eagles wide receivers, anybody over 6'3" really never made it other than Carmichael. You're always like, we got a 6'4" wide receiver, and
Real Green Beckham.
I could go on and on. There's been several.
Even Alshon, who was phenomenal for us, you were always like, why is he not getting more of the 50-50 ball?
Right.
He caught that great touchdown in the Super Bowl, a great 60-yard pass against the Rams.
Great catches.
You're just kind of like, well, even the year after he was good still, but it's like, well, why? Where's the 50-50? Like, end zone, Dallas Goddard. It doesn't make sense.
I know. You never had that, what do you call it? That just throw it up for grabs, type in the corner, just have them go in and out and bang, touchdown, like a lot of these teams do. And we never could do it,
Going on to Eagles that are going to be coming back. Number one, it's going to be our special teamer guys, basically, aside from Jake. Long snapper, we re-signed Rick Lovato for a 1-year deal. Don't know the money yet. One of the best long snappers. Yeah. He went to a Pro Bowl a few years ago, which is funny because the long snapper position, remember there was a time it wasn't voted on by fans. Sure. It was only voted on by coaches and he won. So
you cannot argue how solid he has been.
Oh, yeah.
In the 7 years he's been with us.
He's been with us since 17, right? Yeah, you're right.
So that's incredible.
His 8th year with us.
Yeah. That's wow. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. And then we got Braden Mann, who had a great season for us last year.
Phenomenal.
When he started off really rough, we didn't know what we were going to be in for. It seemed like it was going to be bad, and he ended up doing great. He's coming back on a 2-year, $4.2 million deal, so that's phenomenal.
Perfect.
Good to see. Yep. Happy to have them back. It's always good.
Is Mann a holder too?
Yes.
Okay,
so that's even better. It's always good to keep your special teamers consistent. You got 3 guys,
kicking game,
snapper, holder, kicker. You don't ever want to mess that stuff up. You always want that to be as consistent.
Well, it's funny because it used to always be the backup quarterback is the holder on kicks, but then now your backup quarterback is gone every year. Yeah. So to have him be the holder as well is really awesome.
It's a whole different time. Speaking of backup quarterbacks, let's talk about that guy. Marcus Mariota. These are guys that left the Eagles, of course, didn't come back. Marcus Mariota going to the Washington Commanders on a 1-year, $6 million deal.
I can't say anything. Again, I think we've talked about him several times.
We didn't expect anything, and we didn't get anything, so that's okay.
You don't need him.
One that we're happy to see gone because we expected more from him, and he was terrible to end the season. Early on, I know he played well, and then he ended up being probably one of the worst linebackers in the league.
That's why it was so bad, yeah.
Nicholas Morrow is going to Buffalo on a 1-year deal, and it's funny, I saw another guy tweeted, a big Mike Garofalo maybe, a big name, talking about, Nick Morrow, he's going over here, and he had a lot of time as the play caller last year, is the green dot, calling the defense, and the whole season. And I was just kind of like, man, do you want to mention, do you want to go and throw in that description? He also let up 17 touchdowns against the Niners in one game.
Yeah.
Awful.
Couldn't tackle. Couldn't
tackle at all.
Hopefully he wasn't the one calling the defense, but if he was, that's
all right. Worse. Got anything else going on?
Not really, but it's just exciting that, here we are thinking we're in this off season and we're going to be, we might do a podcast once a week or so. And here we are 3 days in a row, trying to knock stuff out. So, no, it's very exciting that we have been so active in the free agency, which is awesome. Because then it really changes the way you can draft.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can really pick and choose now and concentrate.
Like drafting a safety is not as quintessential now.
Yes.
We're still going to be attacking linebacker as a draft. Cornerbacks to me still feels like a thing.
Well, not just that. Then you have the guys that are drafting 2 or 3 places ahead of you going, hey, you guys want to make a trade? We'll or you could trade up and give us a fifth.
It's rare, but
safety's still out there. No, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Well, thinking about this Josh Sweat thing, I saw some potential trade proposals online talking about trading. A lot of people think that we can get like a second or a third for him,
right?
Which I was kind of surprised with. But I'm like, what my thought was, see if you could. I think Sweat and a fifth. We have 3 fifths.
Right.
Sweat and a fifth for a second and a fourth.
Yeah. I think it's funny because, at first I really didn't want Sweat to go.
I don't want him to.
But then, looking at some of his stats, I know we talked about him the other day. 6th season, going into number 7, right? Really hasn't missed much time. So he's never been injured. 35 sacks, which is good. But the big thing is the $14 million contract. And, and he's on the last year of a $14 million contract. So we trade him, just say we trade him, and get a second-round pick who we get for the next 4 years at $500,000, $1 million a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's see what we can do with them. And, now that we got Huff and we got DG and you got Milton Williams and we got the defense interior guys we got, I don't think there's as much a problem. And, Sweat did have 6.5 last year. We were all hoping for 12 or 14 was my thought. And Rube was calling for 16. So he saw something too. But hopefully we keep Reddick. I hope we do. But
I'm on the other side of it. I don't want to talk too long about this because we wanted to have a quick episode. Yes. But I would much rather see Reddick go than Sweat. I know that might be a big thing that people disagree with me on. Right. And I'm not even saying Sweat's a better player. I know I have loyalty to a fault at times. I know that. But Reddick, it's his second year. He's going into his third year here. Right. Sweat's a homegrown guy who we drafted in the 4th round and has overcome a lot. He's done a lot more than what we ever expected from him.
I agree, and I would either way. I would like to see him back. I really was pulling for him.
And the thing for me is if Reddick, I know he wants to be a top tier. These guys get paid too much money anyways, but I know he wants to be a top paid defensive end, and he should be because he's really great. But you're almost 30. You play in your hometown. I know it's not his hometown. He's from Jersey, but you play in your home city. He's been a fan. He went to Temple. You can't. Come on, just. Be freaking happy. Yeah. When you get happy, then I get it. He wants his money. I know. I understand. But it's just I'm a little annoyed with it because I don't want either of them gone.
But, Reddick's going to get a 3-year, $75 million contract. Did you see the one the guy got the other just $150 million or something?
I mean, Bryce
5 years?
Yeah. I mean, Bryce Huff. 3-year, $51 million.
No, there was a guy signed.
I know, but I'm talking about the guy we signed, Bryce Huff, a nobody. I mean, I don't want to say a nobody, but he's only had one good season,
right? No, I agree. That's $15 million a year, right there.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. I mean, I expect him to get 20 to 22, which I don't know if we'll see.
It might even be more.
I just my heart's going to be broken if Sweat leaves. I think he feels like a very important part of this team. And he's young still, and he's growing, and he's getting better. And I don't know. It's funny. Either way, you could be completely wrong. On one hand, if we keep Sweat and Reddick goes, Sweat could be great, good, and then Reddick could go somewhere and get 17 sacks. And you're like, oh well, now we're an idiot. Or we could keep Reddick, get rid of Sweat. Sweat goes on to become a Hall of Famer, which
that's 5 years.
And then Reddick, who's 30, slows down and gets 8 sacks, 7. And either way could happen, and it's just a bummer. But I'd love to see them both stay. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, apparently, the money's still here. We're still making signings with not too much out there. So
we'll see.
Hopefully, we got it. But
you got anything else, my friend?
Not really. No.
Let's say our goodbyes. If you enjoy our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. We'd love to hear your comments and hear your thoughts and whatever you think about us. Let us know how happy you are about the Eagles signings or your own team signings or whatever you are. And other than that, we'll see you next time. But from all of us here at our Eagles Therapy podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly. Eagles fly.